Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, wherever you may be. Welcome to a new DC live stream. I've always wanted to do that intro, that Truman intro. It's just one of the best movies of all time.
It is. I do that every single time.
Guys, I'm here today again with my co-host Wasim Debussy. We're here to bring you all the latest in the crypto world, news, highlights, adoption, market analysis, and much more. So strap yourselves in. We can't wait to share with you what's happened this week. A couple of cool little things I want to show on my end as well. I believe that we are close to bottoming out with Bitcoin. We have one indicator flashing as of today, marking the bottom, and I can't wait to show you guys that. So be prepared and let's get stuck straight into it. Wasim, take us off.
Thank you, Maddie. Okay, so first up in today's news highlights, we've got gold drops to 6-month low as dollar surges on recession fears. So what we're seeing is gold has dropped 16% since March because a lot of people are putting their money into the greenback. So the greenback, which is obviously the US dollar, has surged to new highs in more than to the highest it's been in more than 2 years, because investors are really worried about the recession and what's happening right now. So what this actually means is that even though people talk about gold being a hedge against inflation, what we're seeing now is unprecedented times, and people don't know where to put their money, and risk on as well as risk off assets are at risk, and we can see that with gold not performing as well as what a lot of the gold advocates would be expecting it to perform. Next, we have Ruchi Chama from the Rockefeller International Chairman says Bitcoin will resurface stronger. Now, this is very interesting because Rockefellers are the guys behind some of the world's largest banks, and Sharma is the chairman of the Rockefeller International. And what he's saying is, he expects that Bitcoin will come back and surge again. He's comparing Bitcoin similar to Amazon after the .com bubble. The .com bubble back in the early 2000s. He said that Amazon lost over 90% of its value early on, but came back to surge more than 300% again over time. Excuse me, guys. I do have the flu, so please bear with me. So what he's saying is we need to see the excesses get weeded out. So all the speculators that are in Bitcoin and are in there just to try and make the quick buck are now starting to get weeded out because of what's happening in the market. And the true OGs, the true Bitcoin advocates and the true believers in Bitcoin are going to have diamond hands and holes throughout this bear market. And they are the ones that are going to prosper in the next few years. So again, it goes back to what we're saying. What we've always been saying is that it's always a good idea to DCA in when it's up or it's down. You can get a lower average of cost per Bitcoin and continue to grow your wealth over time. Bitcoin's not going anywhere, and it's going to be for a very, very long time. Number 3, Bitcoin now braces for a black swan shock after $2 trillion Terra Luna-led Ethereum, BNB, XRP, Solana, Cardano, and Doge price crash. So what we've seen ever since the Luna fiasco, the Terra Luna fiasco, a little while ago. It's been about a month and a half now, maybe 6-7 weeks. And we saw major crashes, and then we saw Celsius, BlockFi, all these centralized exchanges really take a dive. What we're seeing here now is there is another threat coming to Bitcoin with Mt. Gox. Mt. Gox is one of the first exchanges to trade Bitcoin, and they were supposedly hacked. Depending on what side of the story you're on, some people say the owner stole the money, but now there's over $3 billion worth of Bitcoin that has been recovered and is about to go back into the market, and people have the option of either getting their funds back as US dollars, Bitcoin, or Bitcoin Cash. So what they're talking about here is if this does happen and people had Bitcoin from that long ago, they'll have a lot of Bitcoin. They could be going in to cash it out because there would be a huge amount of profit anyway. So that could cause a further downside to Bitcoin. So very interesting time, guys. Still important to DCA in and keep an eye out on the long-term horizon. Number 4, protesters demand frozen millions from Chinese bank faces rough handling in tussle with security. So these are some rural banks in China that froze the accounts froze everyone's accounts back in April, claiming that they were doing an internal upgrade and there been no communication. And now we are in July. So a lot of the people in there, it's estimated there's like 2.2 billion Australian dollars or 1.5 billion US dollars that'll be frozen from people's money. And these people want their money back. Again, shows that we can't trust the banks. They will do whatever they want with our money because it's in their hands. Again, this is more reason why we need decentralization and why we need to have our own keys and have control of our own funds. Whether it's in crypto or in the fiat system, we're seeing that a lot of these centralized systems and centralized institutes cannot be trusted, and they'll do what they want when they are in trouble with our funds. So over 1,000 people were outside the branch in China, and I can't remember, it's Zhengzhou branch in China Central Bank on Sunday, demanded action, and then they were faced with some heavy-handed action by security. And the last news highlight for today, over the last month, Bitcoin whales have purchased over 52,000 BTC. So according to a recent tweet by Sentiment on-chain data company, owners of wallets holding more than 10 Bitcoin up to 100 Bitcoin have been actively acquiring the leading cryptocurrency. Again, this is what we've been saying, guys. Millions and riches and generational wealth is made during the bear market. Getting in now, DCAing in, buying a little bit every single time you can, whether it's a week or a month, is what the big guys are doing. And there's over 52,000 Bitcoin that have been purchased by these guys who have between 10 and 100 Bitcoins, because they understand the end goal is to have more Bitcoin, because one Bitcoin will always be worth one Bitcoin. So if you can get in, if you can DCA in, perfect time to do so. That's it from me, guys, and over to you, Matty.
Thank you, Wasim. Alrighty, guys, moving on to the Twitter highlights. The first one we have from Altcoin Daily, the third largest crypto channel on YouTube. One of the most important #crypto rules: never tell anyone how much crypto you own. I know it sounds pretty obvious, but obviously if you maybe are a social influencer and you're telling people how much money you have, guess who's going to be coming knocking at your door? Some bad actors looking to obviously take your money. So same with crypto. There's plenty of hackers out there because crypto is obviously online. I would never divulge how much BTC, ETH, or money I have online. They could hack this camera, hack my computer, and all funds would be lost. So just make sure you are always keeping your money off exchanges on a hard wallet, and never divulge anyone how much money you are holding in crypto or just in general. Next, by Cedric Youngelman, he states he has a meme that he's retweeted: the bankers will ensure we stay in debt. The pharmaceutical companies will ensure we stay sick. The weapons manufacturers will ensure we keep going to war. The media will ensure we are prevented from knowing the truth. The government will ensure all of this is done legally. I don't think I really need to add to this. I think this statement says it all, and I will move to the next tweet. That being said, I'm not going to say that I'm a FUD-mongerer and I agree with everything that was said there. I actually watch the news every night. My wife hates it. She says that it's all a bunch of crap, but I like to keep up to date with what's happening in the world. I know most of it is fear, but I think it's always good to keep your ear to the ground and see what's happening actually on the news. Next tweet by Ben Armstrong, I believe the second largest channel on YouTube. The truth is, the financial freedom and buying nice things is still available to you. It's just going to be a little harder than you think, but it's all worth it. And those dreams do come true. I've lived it. I've also lived the depression. I spent all of 2019 depressed and made it through. So basically, crypto bear markets are absolutely crucial, especially if it's your first time. BitBoy Crypto has been around for, I think, the last 3 market cycles. And he's obviously made it to the top, made some great investments, made one of the largest YouTube channels in regards to crypto. But it's always good to remind yourself that generational wealth is made during the bear market. And it's a perfect time to DCA. And I'm going to talk about one of those indicators that is pointing out that we are at the bottom in not too long. So most people are too scared to do it in regards to investing in the bear market because there's so much fear. Everything's going down. Everyone's trying to cut their losses. Everyone's like, I sell now, it's going to go lower, I'll buy back lower. It's a bad mindset, and it's definitely a recipe for disasters. So just make sure that you're safe out there. And if you are wanting some help, psychologically, emotionally, feel free to reach out to us. We're a really good bunch of people here at Breakout Solutions. Even if you don't want to become part of our community, it's important that maybe you reach out to people in the like-minded community of crypto. And we here in Breakout Solutions, we're happy to talk to you guys. Feel free to reach out to us via email. We'll happily jump on a call, talk you through these dark times, because it is dark times, and tell you that you'll be able to get through the other side. And we're proof of that. I have myself, having lived through already 2 bear markets, I know what it's like. Next on is CZ, the owner of Binance. Question: how is Binance doing now? Bitcoin's price is 20K. He says when Binance started, Bitcoin's price was $2,000. So it's really good to zoom out sometimes. His perspective is, quite good. Obviously, it's easy to have good perspective when you're a billionaire. But look, at the end of the day, if you're one of those people that FOMO'd in at the 69K level, and you're screwed right now, just know that at any point in time, if you ever invest in Bitcoin, you will at least break even 4 years from the date that you purchased it. I just want you to think of that, because I think a lot of the time people see this huge retracement. They're like, hey, I invested $10,000 into Bitcoin. It's now worth $3,000. It's only a realized loss if you sell it. So have those diamond hands. You're going to get through this part. It's very difficult right now, I understand, to watch the charts, watch your portfolio always in the red. But at the end of the day, this isn't part of the entire cycle. You have to be able to muster the lows if you're also expecting to have new all-time highs. So stay patient and hold on to your Bitcoin. Lastly, our good old friend Peter Schiff, he did not start us off with the Twitter highlights today. He's last man standing. America was founded by rugged individuals who created governments to secure their rights and leave them alone. Americans today want governments to violate other people's rights, steal their stuff, and give it to them. The home of the free has become the land of the freeloader. So basically, he's talking about this should be a bit of a shallow recession, and that the markets will bounce back. But at the end of the day, this is testing new investors to see if they have the cojones to stay in this. And this is the whale games at its best, right? Making people sell their assets at a loss. The whales come in, scoop it up, like Warren Buffett and so forth, who make millions and billions of dollars during a bear market, because they are the ones that have the capital and the guts to actually buy when things are looking really bad and people are wanting to sell, and they ride it up into the next bull market, and then they just rinse and repeat. So that is it for the Twitter highlights. I'll bring my friend Wasim back for the adoption highlights, and take it away, Wasim.
Thank you very much, Maddie. So with today's adoption highlight, we're going to be looking at, first of all, Russia, with the Russian government now looking to make crypto payments acceptable in foreign trade, Russia's financial watchdog says. So the reason for this, as most of you guys know, Russia's under a lot of sanctions from the West right now. So they are looking at different ways in which they can trade with the world and other countries that don't really necessarily agree with the sanctions. This is what happens when you weaponize the dollar. Countries will look at other ways in which they can transact. And now Russia's saying, you know what, we are now looking to accept crypto payment for external trades outside the country. Now, what this means is, as more and more countries start to allow this, a new financial system will start to emerge. We've seen in China where they've done launched a digital yuan. They don't have any sanctions, but if they go under sanctions, and America, for example, says you can't, for China to go under sanctions, then the Chinese are going to look for other ways for people to trade with them. And if they can't trade with a centralized digital currency, then people are going to look for decentralized currencies that are outside the system that the traditional financial system can grab hold of. China still hasn't gone to the point where they're allowing cryptocurrency payments within the country yet, but this is a huge step forward for a country as huge as Russia, because they are one of the world's largest producers and one of the world's richest countries. Moving on, we've got our hometown, or back here at home in Australia, Perth Baseball Club is now looking at using the Lightning Network to improve fans' experience. So, this is a club that back in November 2021 announced that they are moving to the Bitcoin standard. So what that means is they've turned all their reserve assets into Bitcoin because they understand the power of Bitcoin, that it is a revolution, not just another currency. They're paying their players, they're paying their employees with Bitcoin. They're also allow people to buy things through Bitcoin, and now people are going to be able to buy tickets and so forth through Bitcoin. What's also worth noting is if you scroll down a little bit towards the no, I think it's the next one. No, it's the one with the it's the English football fan one. But what we're seeing here is, sports and a lot of sporting organizations are looking at crypto, and that relationship between crypto and sporting is becoming stronger and stronger, which is only going to do one thing: make crypto very strong and emerge as the dominant financial system in the future. Next, we're looking at Spain's largest bank is now looking at holding a digital awards event in the metaverse. So as blockchain and cryptocurrency industry expands, major financial institutions are growing their interest into this space. With banking giant Standard planning an awards ceremony that's going to take place in the metaverse. So we've seen the world change quite a lot over the past few years with the pandemic, restrictions, mandates, etc. So people are looking for other ways which they can connect, and the internet's allowed to do that. And blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies are even allowing that next phase where we can, we spoke last week about going to a doctor using the metaverse. Now banks are looking at how they can have international awards through the metaverse. Another good win for crypto and the metaverse. Moving over to English football club Manchester United partners with OKX exchange despite the current bear market. So crypto exchange OKX has announced that they've made a deal with Manchester Premier League champions Manchester United to become the team's training kit sponsors in 2023. So even though the bear market is among us, we're seeing that the relationship between crypto and sporting clubs is getting stronger and stronger. So OKX is an exchange over in the UK, and they are now sponsoring Manchester United's training team. So they'll have all their logos on their training gear and whatnot. But on top of that, what they're also doing is they've partnered with an artist where they're putting artworks all over the city that people can scan and potentially win tickets to the games. But on top of that, if you scroll even further down, another club in France is also now looking at using NFTs. France's Paris Saint-Germain's football club has announced that they are going to roll out NFT tickets for their pre-season tour. Now, this happened for a couple of reasons. Number one, recently there was a game in France where a whole bunch of English people came with fake tickets or fraudulent tickets, counterfeit tickets and whatnot, which delayed the game. So the French government is looking for ways in which they can overcome that. And NFTs is a great way of doing it. Plus, many people, even historically in human behavior, we save tickets for events that we went to for memorabilia, to have the memories. And now you can do that through NFTs. You can buy a ticket to a game that you go to, and it becomes part of your NFT collection. So as you scroll through it, you can show and remember what you've done there. So this is another huge move towards adoption in cryptocurrencies. And lastly, the Serbian prince and what was his name again? Philip, I can't say that last name, Karađorđević, who's the hereditary prince of Serbia and Yugoslavia, has suggested that Middle Eastern countries like Jordan and the United Arab Emirates could be among those to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender much faster than people are expecting. And the reason for that is they're starting to see even the sovereign wealth over there, the monarchs and the royal families, they start to see the power of Bitcoin to preserve their assets, especially after what we saw happening in Russia and Ukraine with people's assets being frozen by the Western sanctions. So a lot of these monarchs and these sovereign wealth are looking at ways in which they can protect their assets that can become unconfiscatable. Plus, there's a lot of challenges financially in the Middle East, as we know. Like, for example, Lebanon has gone bankrupt. We see Sri Lanka go bankrupt. So a lot of these things are happening, which is pushing more and more people to look for an alternate payment and currency system that is no longer reliant on the traditional financial system. So again, this is great news in the adoption, and the more that we keep an eye out on this, the more we can have faith that crypto is going to come back, and it's going to come back so much stronger in the next 2 to 3 years. Back to you, Maddie, with your market analysis. I know you've got some interesting news for us.
Yeah, I do. I sure do. But I just wanted to pull you up. I know you're not a big soccer fan, but it's Man City. There's 2 teams in Manchester. When you're not a fan, yeah, I think you automatically like Man United, but it says Man City.
There you go. You got me. I'm not a soccer fan.
Guys, you have to have a laugh sometimes at work because, you know, I can clearly see it says Man City, but he still was like, no, it's Man United. There's only one team in Manchester, and that's the only one I know.
Manchester City down the bottom when I was reading and I was doing my prep. So I was like, that's got to be Manchester United, right? I don't know.
It was just so funny. All right, guys, we're going to move on.
Keep me honest.
Thanks, Wasim. All right, we're going to jump into the market analysis, guys. We're going to look at the BLX chart. So if you are on TradingView, the BLX chart is called the Brave New Coin Liquid Index. It basically shows the entire history of Bitcoin. It's the best chart to look at just, you know, the perspective. What do you see in this chart? Basically, Bitcoin likes to go up and to the right, starting at only pennies to the dollar, and literally now still trading at $20,000. So if that's not good return on your investment, I don't know what is. And I think everyone should be getting into Bitcoin at some point in time. But what I wanted to show today is what's called the Pi cycle indicator. Now, there was a similar indicator recently launched during the bull market, indicating the tops of Bitcoins. I can probably throw it on right now. Let me quickly just do it. Where is it? There we go, top indicator. And now it's only showing the tops because it's I don't have the show moving averages. There we go. And let me turn off the bottom indicator. So it clearly indicated the top of each of the Bitcoin top market cycles. So you can see it was in regards to the 350 and 111-day moving averages crossing over. Someone basically put all the data into a probably a quantum computer of some sort, spat out this Pi cycle indicator. I'm assuming it's got to do something with the Pi number, which I think is 3.1 or 3.61 or 3.14. Geez, I have to go back to school. But basically, someone has reverse engineered it to find the bottom. And the bottom occurs when the red moving average which is the 150-day, moves below the 471 day moving average. So right now, that moving average is crossing over today. Okay, literally today. And it's been pretty spot on in order to find the previous bottom back in 2018. The same to be said in 2015. And obviously, there wasn't enough data previous to that. So like all indicators, take them with a grain of salt. They should obviously show you some confluence when you're trying to make some decisions in regards to your trades. And if anything, in regards to the current price action that I'm seeing now, if I just jump into my normal chart, we are entering some pretty rough waters by the looks of it as we currently are speaking. So what am I talking about? If basically Bitcoin breaks this current trend line, I expect us to retest these lows that we have right here. If this does not hold us up, then we will retest the previous low of $17,600. But I still have my eye on $13,500, which is the 0.85 Fibonacci retracement. I spoke about that in previous DC live streams. And right now, we're looking like a very big M pattern. If you know anything about M patterns, basically what you do is you measure the height of the M pattern to the neckline. It's let me just turn off my magnet right here. And the breakdown looks like it could be at least to $16,000. So we need this trend line to hold us. We are also at the value area low of this current sideways range. And right now, I think tonight might be a very late night for me, so I can rebalance our mirrored portfolio in order to make sure that our investors, people that are following us in regards to our new product in the 1K a day channel that we've told you guys about last week, we're making sure we're going to try and catch this falling knife. By the looks of it, it could be this evening. So I'm going to be having a late night as a trader, lots of volatility, which is great. But in other news, things that also tell me that we've probably got more downside. If we look at the S&P 500, things are kind of looking pretty meek here as well. We're still in the red money flow. It looks like we're going to have a bit of a collapse this week sometime. Probably, let's see where we could possibly go. I think we will probably try and retest the highs that we performed back here, right here, because we kind of formed a double top, came down and then continued. So probably that first point of stop for me, if you are in the, into stocks, is 3,576. And then the next one would be the high before the Corona dump back in 2018, which is at $3,400. So those are my 2 points of interest in regards to the stock market. And Bitcoin is dumping. Therefore, guess what's pumping? That's right. The US dollar, the DXY, is absolutely going bonkers. Over this past week, it's already jumped up about 5 cents, which is absolutely huge. And since the top of the crypto bull market, we were at 90 cents or $90, and now we're at $108. Quickly, in other news, if you are an Australian, the Australian dollar is collapsing against the US dollar. I personally, right now, I'm selling some of my US dollars into AUD because I'm getting more bang for my buck. It doesn't look like this is going to slow down. It looks like it could get a little bit worse as well to where we currently are, which means that if you are looking to travel overseas to the US as a Australian, it's going to cost you a little bit of money. But if you do hold, most of the crypto stable coins, Tether, USDC, DAI, I'd be looking at selling now. This is a great opportunity to scoop up some of your national currency because, the Australian dollar is not looking very strong right now. So that is it for the DC live stream. Tomorrow night, guys, we have the Wolf Boss NFT AMA. The link is right below this video. We had them on as guests last week. So if you want to know a little bit about the project, check out our DC live stream from last Tuesday. But we have their AMA happening tomorrow. We want to open it up to you guys because a lot of you guys I know are interested in NFTs. So we want to make this as public as possible. So check out the registration link below, breakoutnow.co/wolfboss-AMA-July. Register yourself. It's at 7 p.m. tomorrow, Australian Eastern Standard Time. And before we sort of wrap things up, Wasim, do you have any final words before we let the good people of social media go?
Just one other thing, guys. Remember the Aussie Crypto Roadshow coming up on the 31st of July. We will be there. We'll be speaking there. There is a free ticket and a $10 ticket for the main event. That's the price of a lettuce head right now. So it's dirt cheap. I don't have that with lettuce head at $10 is dirt cheap, but $10, not a lot of money to go to something where you can learn life-changing information. So AussieCryptoRoadshow.com. Come say hello. Come support us. We're going to be there all day, networking, meeting people. So if you are in Queensland and not too far away from Brisbane, please come down for the day. It's going to be an amazing day of crypto, NFT, blockchain education. That's it for me, guys. We'd love to see you guys tomorrow night at the AMA. If you haven't registered, register for that. And looking forward to seeing everybody at the end of the month. See you guys on Friday night.
Thanks, guys. I'm going to spend the rest of the afternoon educating Wasim on English Premier League teams.
I'll be falling asleep doing that, but anyway.
See you guys. We'll see you on Friday. Bye for now.